Okay, so here we are in our Mac operating environment, and I just want to do a quick tutorial to show my friend Corey how to manipulate some images in a fun and easy way that anyone can get into. After my years of experimenting and making stupid pictures, I've picked up a few things that can make it a little easier. I know you got all these buttons and whatsits and doozles, and you know, it can be kind of daunting. So I'm gonna just try and show Corey how to quickly mess around with a picture and put some images on it, or some text and stuff. I'm gonna look around through here. Where's the picture I found of Corey? There it is. And we're opening up the picture. So here we go. We're in Photoshop. I recommend stealing it and finding a crack or the serial code and borrowing it and using that code to have the program as your own. So here's a photo I took off of the internet, and maybe the format stinks, so we're just gonna start fresh here. Do new, maybe web, and we're gonna do I don't even know, it doesn't matter, 600 by 800. Hit enter. So here's our new picture. I'm going to zoom out a little. You have these tabs here. You can move them out of the way, and then that way they're separated. Just so you know, this is Photoshop CS4. Just in case. You click on that and it should go away. So here we have Corey's picture. I had a teacher tell me one time the best, or what Photoshop is for, is to select, delete, and manipulate pixels. So we have your picture here. It's JPEG. It's made up of pixels. It's not a vector image. So if you zoom in, now we're at this is 100%, so we're not losing any resolution. You zoom in 200%. That's half the it's double the size it normally is, so you have half the quality in the image. You can already see some artifacts here in the picture. This line here, it's jagged. You zoom in more. And now you can actually see the pixels here. This one's labeled as that color, that one's that color, that one's that color. You know, the shirt's these different shades of green, but when you zoom out, you know, optical blending happens and it looks like a shirt or a face or a computer in this case. So what we're gonna do, usually to make a funny picture, I start by cutting out our image. Now you can use many things. I recommend the polygonal lasso tool. Gives you a good lo-fi look, but you basically start by clicking somewhere, and then you have a little circle that appears. If you re-click where you see that circle, that will seal the shape. So right now we're going to be selecting the pixels we want by moving around Corey. Get his little snow-covered hat. I'll come down, get the computer. It's kind of like a garbage mask or mat. I don't know if that's the right word, but we're just doing it really rough, a rough version. Go ahead and cut his legs. Then we seal it, and that's selected this portion of Corey. Now you can hold down Option if you're on a Mac, and then you get that same tool, but this time it'll delete anything that you select, being this space. So now this is open, and we want to free up his hand here, cut out this chunk. So we'll go through here, cut out his hand, see the circle appear sometime. Where's my circle? I spend a lot of time doing this. There it is. So that's cut out. Now we've got Corey separated from his background. But Photoshop, when you open just a picture, it's listed as the background, and it's locked, so you can't, if you try to delete that, you get a weird color in the background and it's not what you want. So if you double click on background, you're making it into a layer now. So you hit OK. Now it's just a layer, and you can delete Corey, and then you see infinity behind him. But we want to keep Corey, so instead of deleting him, we're going to copy him, or Open Apple C, or also you can go to Edit, Copy. Then you go to your normal picture you made, or your blank picture. Boom, we Open Apple V or Edit, Paste him in there. So now we got Corey at regular resolution in our picture. Here he is. So if you want multiple Coreys, you can right click on the layer that's involved and hit duplicate layer, and it says what do you want to name it. We'll just keep it copy. So now we have 2 Coreys, and if you move, and it puts it right over it. So if you move it, you'll notice now once was 1, now there are 2. So we have 2 pictures of Corey, but this back one I just felt like changing a little, so we're going to do Command T, also known as, what is this image? It'd be Edit, Transform. The transform function gives you a lot of different things you can do. You can rotate that layer, you can make it larger, smaller, scale it, skew it, squish it, distort it, change the perspective if you're trying to place it on a wall or something, make it look like a poster in a 3D world. You can warp it, which is neat for shrinking and expanding certain areas of the image. But right now we're just going to do a normal scale. So we get this box with these little squares, you hold down Shift and it'll keep it to that same format and increase the size. If you let go of Shift, it's like a free transform, and we can make them, that thick or, super skinny. But right now we're going to stick to normal size, back it up, and then you go to your arrow tool, whatever that's called, move tool. That allows you to move things around, so that's pretty standard procedure. We got Corey back there, and now he's huge. And then let's see, didn't really have a plan for this, but what we can start with, just change that to a layer. Now we can mess with that background. Maybe add some kind of background to him. You can even, let's see, we're going to use this paint bucket tool. It's really simple. Paint bucket. You select the color you want. Pretty standard favorite color, neon green. Select it here. If you want to alternate between 2 different colors, you can toggle it with that button. Then you get your paint bucket, put it over the area that you want, and you just click it, and boom. Now the background is this color. And you can see if you un-eyeball these things, Corey disappears. So that background will stay constant until we manipulate that. And then something else we can do, I didn't really think about this, but you can add another picture to the background. Let's see what we got here. This is pretty weird. These are some backgrounds that I found off of a clothing line's YouTube page. Pretty neat, large scale backgrounds. So now we've opened this new image rather quickly, and I want to put this in the picture with Corey. So all you do is drag this background from this project over to this one. Boom. Now as you can see, that's what's behind Corey. But it's huge, so we're going to zoom out using Command plus or minus. I'm going to do a transform on this image because it's freaking huge. Then we can shrink that and put it where we want it. Now we add Corey's back in. And I mean, it may not even really work. We're going to shrink these 2, see more of that weird background. And then something neat that you can do that I use often in Photoshop is, I don't even know. What can we do here? One thing that comes in handy is the layer reveal tools. Where is it? Layer mask. Under layer, you got a layer mask, and you can do reveal all. And then what that'll do, instead of, well, we're selecting the eraser here, change the hardness, that's the edge. Oops. Instead of just trying to erase something on Corey, and then that way, you go a few steps forward, you can't undo really what you erased there without going back. It's like in the chronology, you would be stuck with just this erase mark. That's where the layer masking comes into play. We're going to do reveal all. That way I can manipulate it and still change it as needed with using these brushes. So you go to your brush tool here. You can set it to whatever size you want. Diameter, let's make it 20 pixels. That's that big around. Hardness 100. That means the edges won't get fuzzy. Opacity, you know, you put that on 1, it's not gonna do much of anything. 100 will be one click, it goes all the way through. See the difference? Go down to 44%. There's an opaqueness or a I don't know what, translucency. It doesn't go all the way through, which is what you want sometimes. But we're just gonna bump this up to 100 and maybe even do a different. I don't really have that many great brushes, but we just cut out Corey's eyes on that one. Not too cool, not very friendly, but kind of neat. And then maybe this one will make his eyes way bigger. We're just gonna cut this shape out. Now that we have this selected on this layer with the tinier Corey, you can right click on it, and this is something I do pretty often. Make sure you're not selected in the layer mask but the actual image. You see the difference there? Go to the image, right click, and then you can do new layer via copy. Boom, I use that all the time. That way looks like nothing happened, but I actually have a new layer with just Corey's eyes on it that I can make super huge and put them over there like that. Just an idea. And then you can, you know, get your paintbrush, pick a wacky color, you know, and just go maybe behind Corey here. You can just add some jibba jabba. It's nothing too serious. You know, just broad strokes here, people. We're making broad strokes. You know, that's. Don't know what's up with that. Lower the opacity, and now we have a nice glow. It's really just having fun. If you're not having fun with Photoshop, you're doing it wrong. So we got Corey in there, you know. I don't have any silly other pictures that I've already thought of without embarrassing myself to put in there. We can just quickly look through here. Some of these are really dumb. This is embarrassing. Here's a picture of me I took for my friend. She gave me this jacket, so we're gonna drop that in there too. That means I love you in namaste. Oh, and the other cool thing I'll show you is another way to select pixels instead of using the lasso and, you know, cutting this shape out like this. You can select it with the magic wand, this tool, via the difference in the values of the pixels. So I click this area, it's all about the same shade, so it's grabbing all of that. And then since it's a layer, it's not locked, I can delete that and all of that will disappear, which can add some cool effects. And if you want to take out more, there's a tolerance slider, so you can slide that up to 129 and it'll grab any pixels that are within 129 shades, or, you know, value level, I guess, from that gray carpet. So that's clearly a lot. So we're gonna bump it down and maybe just still bump it down. Now we're at 50. Cut out that thing, that thing. Sometimes it's fun to leave certain things, but not other things. So then I'm there, hanging out with Corey, and we're just having some fun, you know. He's eating the computer. I'm doing my thing. Best buds. So this piece is over his face, so I'm just going to draw a box around that and delete it. And there we go. The only other thing I thought might be neat to tell you, Corey, is drawing some text. So we're going to select the text box over here. You might have seen that. It's a big T. Drag it. You can alter the size of it later, but then you have this box and you can type whatever you want. Alright, I wrote Corey's a freaking superhero, but I think I misspelled a lot of it. So it's all jumbled, but that's because the formatting was set for something different. So I'm going to select window. This selects whatever windows you want to have come up, and I know that it's a paragraph issue because the letters are so jumbled, so I select paragraph, and then this window comes up. Now we can make it all centered, typed. Oh, that's actually a character issue. And then this guy is how far the leading, it's how far the lines are spaced. So you slide that down until you can actually read it. That only happens if the last project you did, you were using that setting of really close together lines. Maybe the font was smaller. But now I have to get my arrows so I can resize this. Misspelled hero. H-E-R-O. Superhero. That's not quite legible enough, so we're going to do bold, oblique. We're going to make it bigger, folks. You thought it was over, but it ain't over. Corey's a freaking superhero. He's a madman. And there's that. Can't quite see it that well, so we're gonna do some stuff to it. Let's see if we can. Oh, typography. Oh, typography. You're so special to me. Where would I be without thee? Probably without a job, you see. Superhero. Alright. So we're gonna make it bigger. Now it looks pretty whack. But that's alright. I'm gonna move this up. Kind of forgot what I was doing. Paragraph. Let's do left justified. Alright, we're getting there. So shrink this down. Actually, I think it's a little big now. A little too big. Superhero. Now, if that's still not quite legible, we can add some effects to this text layer by clicking on the layer. Brings up this new menu, and you can do things to any object, not just text, like add a drop shadow or an inner glow or an outer glow, which looks pretty cool. And then you click on the actual effect, and then you can alter that and manipulate it. So we don't want it to have a lot of noise. That looks cool though. We're gonna make this glow a little bigger and a little brighter. Not that bright. Bring it down. Bring it down. Spread's too high. Size too wide. This is still a little too sharp for my tastes. Inner glow, outer glow. Got all kinds of stuff you can do here. We'll just say okay. I want to change this font to one that I know that I like. No, that doesn't work. What's a good one? No. Just a second here, folks. This is like a ninja font. Looks kind of cool. But it's a little too distracting. So we're going to step back in time to this era of our picture. So that's that. The font's a little too in your face for me. Tone it down a little. Maybe put it behind that. Who knows, folks? Who knows? Well, that's an example of having fun with Photoshop for free. Then you can make this into a poster. You can print it out, send it to your folks, blast it out onto the internet if you'd like. You can upload it to a blog or some sort of friendly website, and the kids can look at it and they can be amazed, because that's what's happening. I wish I could see that weird gun thing that was in the picture here, but now I can't because we drew too much on it. This is a big mess, but I think you get the idea. We're going to save it as Corey Part 2. You could save it as a Photoshop file, and that way you could come back to it and edit it, but I don't think we're going to need to do that, so I'll make a JPEG. We're going to increase that file size. We want all that detail. You don't have to do that, though. I don't recommend doing that. And I don't know where I saved it, so we're going to just do save as again, and it should show up. It's for some reason saved in the screenshots folder. I think because I pulled one of those pictures from there. And here's our picture. This has been Matthew Bowman's Photoshop Tutorials, lesson number 1. Photoshopping for Corey. Namaste.